Two. I want to hit record there. Thank God I remembered. Oh, yeah. We wouldn't have had it recorded, Rumen, that whole time I was talking. Okay, so host tools, there we go. Hi everyone, just bear with us while we get prepared here. Where are they change things sometimes, Rumen. I'm sorry, so that's why I forget where things are. Allow all participants to, okay, quest.
Maybe I can send you,
Yeah,
let's see,
okay.
send request.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Perfect. That makes it a little bit easier. Okay, hi everybody. I can see there's a few people that have jumped on now. Feel free to say hello and let us know that you're here. And if you have any questions as we go through tonight's presentation, please feel free to write them in the chat box and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Now, Rumen's going to be featuring his Placidus 8 program for us again tonight. This is part two, so we're going to go into different aspects of the program as he's continuing to develop it. We finished off with going through Venus quite extensively. Rumen might bring Venus back up because she's the love goddess, so we have to have one more look at her at some point. We're going to talk a little bit about the heliacal phases of the planets at the moment, where they are, what they're doing, and how that's significant with the chaos in the world. I might wear my hat now. Yeah, I love my hat. Okay, Rumen. So I think you've got the hosting tools going. So I'll let you
Yes.
kick it off. So please bring up the program and start showing us anything you want to show us.
Okay, today is the 15th of June, 2025.
Hmm.
Um, and now let me show you the program. Let's first share the screen.
Hmm.
Okay, share. Um, do you see the
Yes.
screen?
Yes.
Okay, this is for the latitude of Sofia,
Hmm.
which is 42 degrees 41 minutes north.
Hmm.
Um, and this is for the moment now.
Okay. So Bulgaria. Yes.
Yes, Bulgaria, Sofia. Of course, I must, let's see, because we're summertime, I must change the time here
Hmm.
to 3 hours east. So that's what exactly is now the sky above Sofia.
Okay.
Uh, Last time we talked about Venus
Hmm.
and um, I think a little bit about Mercury.
Yes.
Mercury right now, as you can see,
Hmm.
is above Mercury is written EF minus 6, which means that 6 days before today,
Hmm.
before the date of this chart, Mercury has risen as an evening first, like as an evening star, Hermes.
Right. Yes.
Hermes. Uh, so it's what is important to know is this little detail here, but very important. This is the extinction of the atmosphere, which is here, extinct extinction. Like the average value is 0.24.
Hmm.
This is a technical term which shows how many magnitudes are extinguished by one atmosphere of the Earth.
Right.
Like So this is like average kind of value. Of course, different places have different values.
Hmm.
In When I was in Seattle, I made some measurements, and there the extinction was like 0.18.
Right.
Somewhere it is 0.30.
Right.
But if you don't know the extinction,
Hmm.
if you work with this program, average value 0.24
Okay.
is good, because this may change the heliacal phases with many days.
I see.
If we yeah
Well, that's
if
very
we
important. I didn't realize that. That's obviously
yeah
extremely important. Yeah. Okay.
For example, look, if I put here, let's put 0.12,
Mm.
which is actually a value only in some high altitude deserts.
Right.
You see, Mercury has shown not 6 days before the birth, but many days before that.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
bec- because this red label
Hmm.
about the heliacal phases
Hmm.
shows if the phase has happened plus minus 7 days.
Right. Yes.
So if we don't see this means that Mercury has shown not 6 days before the birth, but more than 7 days.
Right. Okay.
We can actually even look when this will happen. I'll go back in time with 1 week. Aha! So it is EF minus one,
Mhm.
which means that it has shown eight days back from today,
Right.
not 6 days, 8 days. So I'll go back here, put the value 2024. Okay, and I'll go back for now. And also,
Hmm.
of course, the heliacal phases depend also on the geographical latitude.
Right. Yes.
Mm,
So if people um, primarily work with the 0.24 for most latitudes, it should show the accuracy.
yeah, I think 0.24 is a good thing, because it will make a major difference for Mercury, Mars, but not for Jupiter, not for Venus. As you see, even for Mercury, it made a difference of 2 days.
Hmm.
Like with 0.24, uh, Mercury shows up 6 days before today. With 0.10, it shows 8 days before today. So that's not a big
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
But in some cases, it can be, for Mercury and Mars, it can be more than a week if we go further north latitude. So yeah, so it's this kind of detail which is important, like geographical latitude
Hmm.
and atmospheric extinction.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So the more dense the atmosphere,
Hmm.
the more extinction we must put here.
Right.
The more pure atmosphere, less. Like I said, like 0.12
Hmm.
is for the best conditions ever,
Right. Got
somewhere in high altitude deserts.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
so interesting. These are obviously extremely technical details that, most people would absolutely not be aware of unless you're a scientist, right? Of some
Yeah.
kind, So But thank you for explaining that because obviously, if people have this program, these are very important details to understand. They're technical, but it's just if you want accuracy with what you're looking at, then you need to be aware of what's going on. And this is like part and parcel, as you're explaining it, of the heliacal cycles or phases of the planets. So the atmospheric extinction, as you said, the density, or if it's not so dense, will have an impact of when these planets are appearing. Is that what you're saying, basically?
Yes, yes.
Okay, just so that I understood it correctly. Okay, all right, good.
And as I said before, the heliacal phases are phenomena, visual phenomena on the sky. They are signs. They are signs that the spiritual world, God, sends.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, some people may think that they are subjective, that different people have different acuity of their vision, and different people can see the heliacal appearance of Mercury, let's say, in different days. Well, that's not true. Like probably 95% of the people will see the heliacal phases on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
Like if of course there are some people with very sharp vision, they
Mm-hmm.
can see them 2 3 days before
Right.
uh, the other people, and there are some people with not so good vision that they can see them like 2 3 days after that, or but the majority of the people
Mm-hmm.
will see them on the same day.
Right.
So
Yeah.
uh, these are signs
Mm-hmm.
on the sky, and this is actually the whole astrology, the signs on the sky.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that there are some programs which claim to compute the heliacal phases, but what they compute is not what is really happening on the sky.
Mm-hmm.
They compute them with very wrong algorithms, like what the ancient Greeks wrote
Mm-hmm.
about the heliacal phases, that it is like when the planet is 15 degrees
Mm.
from the sun, then this is the heliacal phase. Well, this is not true.
Yeah.
This is like if you go out and watch the sky, you'll see for yourself,
Mm.
because there are many other factors.
Mm-hmm.
There is latitude, there is azimuth difference, there is also magnitude of the planet.
Mm.
And actually, the Babylonians knew how to compute the heliacal phases, and they did this exactly. How did they do this?
Mm.
Very, very simple. They knew the heliacal cycle of every planet.
Mm-hmm.
They knew if they see today the appearance of a planet, they knew that after so many years and so many days, it will appear on the same place.
Mm.
And they just needed initial observations.
Mm-hmm.
And when they had these initial observations, they will just add the cycle,
Mm.
and they'll have the right day of the next appearance.
Mm-hmm.
But the ancient Greeks forgot it. Forgot. Well, yeah, Ptolemy gave some kind of more complex algorithm, but this algorithm was also wrong. So yeah, um,
Mm.
I I made my own algorithm,
Mm-hmm.
which I published in my book, The Babylonian Astrolabe.
Mm-hmm.
However, I made this algorithm after more than 12 years of observations,
Wow.
practical,
Yeah.
practical stuff.
Yeah.
So um, so this here is the helical phases as computed by my program Placidus
Mm-hmm.
are exact.
Mm-hmm.
Many of my students have checked this.
Mm-hmm.
They have computed them with my program, and then they go out and watch,
Yeah.
and then confirm.
Yeah. And I've done the same as well. Since I've had your
Yeah.
program, I've done the same. I've looked at it there and I've known what time and I've gone out and I've seen the correspondence is there. Yes.
Yeah. So the good way to do the checking is you compute the helical phase. Okay, if it falls, let's say on the 10th of July,
Mm-hmm.
then you start watching already on the 6th of July, like 3 4 days before that, to
Okay.
be sure. To be sure.
Okay.
Uh, so Mercury here in this new version 8,
Mm-hmm.
which I am now still developing.
Mm-hmm.
Some major features I have already placed, but one of the major features is are the helical cycles of the planets.
Mm-hmm.
So here, if I click on helical cycles here, this is what comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can, for example, compute the helical phases and the helical path of Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
And I have different options here. I can see, for example, only the morning star Mercury or evening star,
Mm-hmm.
or I can see both.
Both. Yeah.
Okay, I can see
Mm-hmm.
only the visible path.
Mm-hmm.
For example, right now Mercury is evening star. Let's put here evening star. And then I can see the total path only invisible behind the sun or in front or all invisible arcs. So let's stick now with the visible path only. So right now Mercury is in the 18th degree of Babylonian Gemini, but we see where he has shown up. He has shown up here evening first.
Mm-hmm.
One means evening first in the first cycle, because here you can see 3 cycles of Mercury. Mercury makes one circle around the sun, looking for from the Earth. From the Earth, when we look from the Earth, from one conjunction of Mercury with the Sun to the next, there are roughly 120 days.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there are 110 days.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there are 130. Mercury is very hard to predict. Very jumpy kind of star. That's why it is connected with the mental field. It
That's
is
true.
also very quick. Also, however, average about 120 days. So in one tropical year,
Mm-hmm.
we have 3 cycles
Mm-hmm.
of Mercury,
Mm-hmm.
and you can see these 3 cycles here. For example, right now we are in the first cycle, and in this first cycle, Mercury is visible as an evening star. Also, he will be visible in the third cycle. You see here, evening first 3. Here, evening first 3. Uh, and we can see like evening first 1 on the 8th of June
Mm-hmm.
in the 4th degree of Gemini, Babylonian. I can also, of course, here I can click on the tropical ecliptic, and then this will be in the 30 somewhere here in tropical Cancer. I must start again so we can see this in the in the tropical. Here we see 29 degrees tropical. So if someone prefers to work with the tropical, no problem. They can work in the tropical. So let's continue now with the Babylonian zodiac. So here you can see where actually Mercury appeared, right here in this blue dot here, EF1
Mm-hmm.
here. And we can see here when this happened, where this happened, what was the latitude of Mercury, and what was his magnitude.
Right. Okay.
Here is minus 2.1, quite strong.
Hmm.
So
Does
right
that
now,
does that
yeah.
detail there, Rumen, the fact that the magnitude was quite strong, does that translate into the energy of, Mercury in the sky as being seen
Oh
from
yeah,
here as the
yeah,
evening star? So can you give
yes.
us an example? Like what would that suggest about Mercury appearing there on the 8th of June 2025? And his magnitude was quite strong, you said, and so that is significant. And Mercury is, as an evening star, he's Hermes. He corresponds to the divinity Hermes. So, what would we think in relation to, okay, this is Mercury's first appearance, his magnitude is really strong. This means something. What does it mean?
Well, the stronger the light, the stronger the influence.
Right. So, is that what the magnitude is suggesting, that the light is stronger?
Hmm. Yeah, magnitude just shows how bright is the star.
Okay, okay. Yep.
Like Sirius, which is the brightest star, has a magnitude like minus one point, I think three, minus 1.3, and here we have minus two,
Right.
which is very strong.
Right. Got you.
Um,
Yeah.
like for example, Regulus has a magnitude of plus 1.4. Actually, here, the more you go towards the negative, the brighter the star.
Right. Okay.
Uh, like Jupiter can reach. Actually, Jupiter is around minus 3, minus 2.4.
Uh-huh.
Venus is almost always around minus 4.
Okay. Hmm.
So yeah, well, actually, what this means is that people who have some important point here in this area here where he first showed up, and also where his visible path is situated, like his visible path is from the fourth degree of Babylonian Gemini until he disappears evening last.
Hmm.
Here, evening class, he disappears somewhere in the middle of Babylonian Cancer.
Cancer.
If you want to transform this in tropical, you must subtract 20. You must actually add 25 degrees.
25, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
25. Well, I can go back to the tropical, and we can see actually what is happening here. Yeah, you see in the tropical, it's from the 29 degree of tropical Gemini
Mm.
until he disappears in the eighth degree of tropical Leo.
So then people would look at that area of their chart, whether they're looking at the tropical or the Babylonian. Those are the signs and the degrees that they'd be looking at in their chart because that will be Mercury's path. So that could be, if that was on the angles, that would be really important, wouldn't it? If it was on the angles of the birth chart.
Yes, angles, sun, moon. These are the most powerful points. Uh, we can probably add also the part of fortune. So we have four angles: sun, moon, and the part of fortune. Seven points, which are the most important.
Hmm.
Of course, if it falls on a planet, especially the evening first, which here is in the fourth degree of Babylon Gemini. It was in the 29
Hmm.
of Babylon Gemini. If we have there a planet exactly there, this will be also significant too. But of course, the most important is the most important.
Hmm.
Angles, sun, moon. That's it.
Hmm.
So anyone who has there something from these 6 points, there will be movement there. There will be something happening.
Hmm.
It will be uh, depending on the chart. If Mercury is powerful, then especially in this period when Mercury is visible, mm, these people can expect everything which is dealing with business, with negotiating, with contracts, with projects, with networking will go ahead in a good way.
Okay. Okay. And
Yeah,
is that
business, money. Also, Mercury is connected. Hermes, Hermes. They portray him with a purse full with silver coins in
right?
the ancient iconography. So
Okay.
also,
That's interesting. Yeah, okay. So when you
mm,
said that Mercury in the chart, if it was well placed, were you talking about the person's birth chart if their Mercury is well placed? That
yes,
okay, yeah. So hi
yeah,
everyone who's here. Just to kind of summarize a little bit of what Rumen was just saying, we're just looking at the path of Mercury at the moment, Mercury's heliacal cycle, and we're just looking at exactly where Mercury is in the sky right now. And Rumen is showing us with this new program that if you look at the screen and you see these little blue dots, this is literally Mercury's path in the sky right now as an evening star. And Roman just explained to us that Mercury first became visible on the 8th of June, 4 degrees Babylonian or 29 degrees tropical, depending on which chart you want to work with. If Mercury, if you've got those degrees on one of the angles of your chart, the ascendant, the descendant, the MC, the IC, or the sun and the moon in any of those degrees, or the part of fortune, those are the strongest points relative to these particular techniques that we're looking at now, which is basically heliacal cycles of the planets. This program, though, makes it very accessible and easy for you to know this. No other program does it. SolarFire doesn't do it. I know most of you use SolarFire. You can't ask SolarFire to show you where's Mercury, where's his path, is he a morning star, is he an evening star, where the hell is he? You won't know. So this is, a pretty extremely valuable program showing you this, and it's very technical when you first hear it. It does take a little while to learn it and to understand it. The first thing is to understand the most important thing about heliacal cycles and that all planets have them, and no program shows you these heliacal cycles. So the only way you can figure it out on your own is, and you should, is go out and have a look. But this program, if you have this program, what it'll do is it'll show you when it's happening because you can look ahead. And so go out and test it yourself. It says here that Mercury appeared as an evening star on the 8th of June, 2025. If we were in the first few days of June right now, we could sort of test the theory, if you like. But it's not a theory because it works. I've tested it myself with Rumen's program. So the benefit of this is just knowing the appearance of any of the planets at any given moment relative to your particular geographical latitude and how that might be important for your life story at any given moment. Because, like Rumen said at the very, very beginning, the appearance of the planets in the sky are God's way or God's language, if you like, speaking directly to us. We just need to understand the language, and that's what astrology is. It's a language, as is the sky. And this program does it in such an elaborate way that no other program does. Now, a lot of people that follow me are still, just coming to know the understanding of heliacal cycles and phases because I've only just recently introduced it with Rumen. And once again, it does take a little while. But when you understand the sheer importance of a planet, when it's invisible, when it first appears, when it's invisible, it's said to be dying. So it's in the underworld. When you understand those phases of a planet, you know what you're working with in your life, which is pretty important, right? So that's just kind of summary of, this is what we're looking at here with the program. And Roman's just showing us the new features added to this program, which are freaking spectacular, basically. Okay. So and you said with Hermes, if Hermes shows up on any of the angles, the sun or the moon or the part of fortune at those degrees, and it was what was it, 4 degrees Babylonian or 29 degrees Gemini tropical, those degrees, if they're prominent in your chart, Mercury's appearance there, Roman just explained to us it has a beneficial journey for us ahead. And that could be financially as well because of the negotiations or projects or agreements and things that you may be in the process of making or considering and so forth. Is that right, Rumen? Is that a right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. That's what I'm thinking too. Here also, we can interpret this in a deeper kind of way, like when Mercury is a morning star, he is Apollo.
Mm-hmm.
Apollo sends us visions,
Mm-hmm.
visions for our projects.
Mm-hmm.
However, in order to put them in practice, to materialize them, we need Hermes.
Right. Yeah.
Apollo can send you a vision of, let's say, some kind of architecture type building. Okay, you can see this, in a vision. You can turn it around, or some piece of jewelry,
Mm.
or anything. You can turn it around. You can look at it. You can see how it looks, how it should be made. But when it comes to the technical stuff, for example, this building, okay, how you will make it, what kind of materials, how to compute the pressure of the weight, everything like this kind of details, in order to materialize it in this physical world, then we need Hermes.
Okay, that's a really important distinction you made between the two. So is it a little bit like saying that Apollo, the morning star Mercury, is, as you said, he gives us the vision. So it's like it's the birth of something, isn't it? It's the birth, that vision is the birth, right? And
Yeah.
then when Mercury transfers over into the evening star, we've got that seed, we've got that vision, the birth is there, we've got it, right? And now we can actually put everything that needs to be put in place to create it in the physical reality. So does Hermes kind of see a broader, bigger picture in his ability? Is that a statement that is accurate for Hermes?
Yeah, Hermes is the mental field,
Mm, okay.
and Apollo is the field of light,
Right.
the divine field. And actually, this kind of cycle is like when Mercury shows up like a morning star, Apollo, and especially if he is visible. Here he is with this yellow orange kind of path here.
Hmm.
uh he will be visible, let's see here when this will happen. Mm, on the 15th of August as a morning star. Yes, it seems like that. In the 11th degree of Babylonian Cancer.
Hmm.
So yeah, here we can see the whole cycle of Mercury where we're right now. Right now, Mercury is evening star, but after some time, he will be coming to inferior conjunction, and then he'll make this loop here,
Mm,
and he will be invisible because he will be between the sun and the earth.
mm, mm,
And
mm.
then when he comes a little bit out of this inferior conjunction, he'll become visible as a morning star, Apollo.
Yeah.
This is for latitude 24, for latitude 42, 43 north. So
So
uh,
that's in Europe for those guys that are not familiar with latitude. That's actually in Bulgaria, Europe, relative to the dates that we just mentioned of Mercury transitioning out of the evening into the morning. So
yeah,
that loop zone there, is that where, let me think, is that where Mercury forms the conjunction to the sun, the cazimi? Is that what that is? That zone just before that, or?
yeah. Here Mercury comes between the sun and the earth,
Mm,
and it seems to go a retrograde. So
yeah,
like here you go, you see here he will disappear in this last blue dot,
yeah.
and then he will be invisible. He will be still direct, but then when he comes to this point, it is his evening station,
Right.
and then he will go retrograde.
Right. So that loop is showing his retrograde journey. Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this lower part of the loop shows he is going retrograde, and then in this point is the IC2, which is inferior conjunction.
Right.
Like Sun and Mercury will be in conjunction,
Okay.
inferior.
Okay. And when you put your mouse on that, um does that have a connection to the tables anywhere just to keep track of dates, or are we just,
Yeah,
yeah?
yeah. Here, for example, inferior
Ah,
conjunction 2. You,
yeah. Okay.
you can look where is inferior conjunction 2. It's here,
Uh,
31st of July.
okay. Yeah, okay. And the 15 degrees Cancer, that's the Babylonian zodiac, right? I'm just,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, perfect. Oh, wow, that's amazing.
it will be like tropical. We add 25 degrees. It
Yeah.
will be like 10 degrees of tropical Leo.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so actually
Mm.
the cycle of Mercury shows this cycle of visions from Apollo,
Mm.
and then putting these visions into the material world
Hmm.
by Hermes.
Wow, I love that. I really love that. I didn't know that exact sort of distinction between the two. I had a feeling about Mercury, Apollo, the light. It just got the feeling it was, the birth, right? Something new beginning, something coming in,
Mhm.
right? But I really love the way you've explained it. Just that those two words, the distinction, it's so important. I think because most people listening or watching wouldn't even know, like all you guys that are watching, all of us, we all were born with Mercury either as an evening star or either he was a morning star, which, as we just said, Apollo is the Mercury morning star, Hermes is the Mercury evening star, or you could be born with Mercury invisible. And that's a whole different Mercury, right?
Yeah.
Who's the divinity that connects to Mercury invisible? Is there one or?
Well, this is a tough question. Actually, I'm thinking about this,
Hmm.
but I need more time and more practice in order to come to a definite
Okay,
conclusion.
okay.
Um,
My Mercury is
but
invisible when I was born, so I really want to.
actually, actually, Mercury could be like when he's Apollo, a
Hmm.
morning star. We can actually think about this, that Mercury can be as a morning star Apollo,
Mm,
and Apollo can be visible
mm.
or invisible.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That
but
that yeah.
yeah,
That makes sense even from the point of view of because Mercury was the only divinity that went into all the worlds, right? That's why he's the messenger. He went into the upper world, the middle world, the lower worlds. He's the divine messenger, right?
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Only Hermes and the Hecate
Hecate,
can go everywhere.
Hecate as well. Okay. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, this two. Nobody else.
That's amazing. Okay.
So in this in this kind of loop here,
Mm-hmm.
which is the invisible loop, actually I believe that here this is the period when the materialization of the projects
Mm.
by Hermes has finished. And now this is kind of a middle period before the next visions.
Okay.
Um,
So this is while Mercury is retrograde, right?
yeah, like half of this. Like, okay, you see, I can put here a step of 1 day,
Mm-hmm.
and now I can start moving Mercury. Okay, wait, I will do something here. I will um okay, synchronize. I
Oh,
need to I need to synchronize this with Porphyrius. Porphyrius is this on the left upper corner. So I'll synchronize it so that this arrow will show where Mercury goes. And now you can see
yeah.
how he goes here. Okay, here he
Yeah.
is not visible
Yeah.
anymore.
Yes.
And now this is his invisible path. And right here, he is in a station,
Mm-hmm.
in evening station.
Right.
Then he goes retrograde. As you can see here, he goes retrograde.
That's incredible.
Right. Well, I missed to stop it, but right here, he is in uh, inferior conjunction. Right here, you see, I see too.
Yeah. Okay.
Inferior conjunction. Then he continues going retrograde. Here he is in morning station.
Right.
Well, yeah, right here, morning station. And then
Yeah.
a little bit after his morning station, he shows up. He shows up like a morning star, which will be, let's see here. Um, is it
Is it?
25? Yeah, here on the 15th of August.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 15th of August.
He shows up like a morning star, Apollo,
Hmm.
and then goes visible until this point here, which is ML1, where he disappears.
He disappeared. So the morning last now, right? We're going to that.
Yeah, morning class will be on the 3rd of September here. If I can find it also here, September, yeah, 3rd of September.
Okay. So because Mercury obviously is the fastest moving planet, right, out of beyond, Venus and so forth, and that's why Mercury has how many conjunctions does Mercury have to the sun per year? Is it three or three, I think?
Three, yeah.
Yeah. So so how many evening stars and morning stars of Mercury do we have in 1 year?
In one year, they
Hmm.
should be there are three cycles and around the sun, and in each cycle are possible um, are possible like appearance in the morning and appearance in the evening. So
Hmm.
actually, morning first appearance of Mercury in one tropical year could be three.
Hmm.
How? However, they could be only two.
Hmm. Yeah. So you can't
Or
you can't
yeah,
predict it. You can't like you can predict it by the computer, but you can't predict it's not the same as the other planets, right? Which we said
yeah.
that before. Yeah, okay. Mm.
Mercury is highly volatile, you know. So uh so in one tropical year, Mercury can show up as a morning star three times, can show up two times, can show up one time, or cannot show up at all.
And not show up at all. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so for example, right now, as you can see, if I go again to now, uh, in this year, as you see, in his first cycle, he shows up like evening star. Here you see this. Then he shows up as an evening star in his third cycle. However, where is the second cycle? He doesn't show up.
Right.
But huh?
I was just
Why?
no, I said right. So he skipped a cycle. He didn't show up, right?
Yeah,
This
yeah.
yeah.
If I here click on the total path, then I can see the total path of Mercury, and I can see also here. I can put also here both
Both morning
uh,
and evening. Yeah.
morning and evening. So we can see here, for example, that in the second cycle, which is this one here,
Hmm.
mm, let me see here. Anastasia evening first. Yeah, in the second cycle here, like this here up is the first cycle.
Right.
We have morning visible, we have evening visible, morning visible, but then in the second cycle we have only morning visible,
Yeah, I see that. Okay.
and in the third cycle we have only evening visible. So it's
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So he's really the trickster. He's true to his name, right?
absolutely,
He's very tricky, this guy. That's incredible.
absolutely. So it's we can see here the total path of Mercury in one tropical year, where he is visible, morning, evening, everything, where he is invisible, and uh, when we know actually that when he is morning star, these are visions of new projects, of new ideas, and then when he is evening star, then the materialization, the actualization
Mm,
of these visions come. And when he is in this invisible loop
hmm
in the inferior conjunction,
hmm
like this is this kind of passing,
mm,
like between the like uh, after Mercury is evening star, then comes this loop in the inferior conjunction.
mm,
So what actually happens if you turn to mythology?
hmm
What happens
hmm
in this inferior conjunction between the evening star and between the morning star? In
mm,
this inferior conjunction, according to mythology,
mm.
actually Apollo, Hermes, and Zeus are meeting.
Ah, yeah.
Because okay, this like yeah, from mythology that when Mercury uh,
Stole the cattle?
disappears, huh?
Oh,
Yeah,
when he
like
stole the
when yeah, like when Mercury disappears as an evening star, this corresponds to the end of the first day of the newborn divinity Hermes.
Mm,
And in the end of his first day, uh, the divinity Hermes started to think, how to gain access to Olympus, how to prove himself like a man, and he figured it out
he's
to
so
steal the
smart. He's so
to steal
smart.
the cows. So uh,
That's so funny. Oh,
yeah,
I love it.
so we can see this exactly on the sky because the
Right.
mythology
Yeah.
is playing on the sky in
Yeah.
every moment. In
That's
every moment,
that's
in
oh
yeah,
wow. That's real magic, that insight just there. I don't know who's watching and how many of you understand this or who will watch the replay, but what Rumen just explained then was that when Mercury is finishing his evening star phase, and he ends up in this zone here where there's this circle. You see this loop here. This is part of Mercury's path, right? And this is where Mercury actually goes invisible. And I'll just pause at that point for a moment because in that zone, when Mercury is invisible, I don't know how much of you know your mythology, but I've always said right from day one, if you want to understand astrology, you have to understand mythology. You cannot separate them, right? So there's a story in one of the mythologies about Zeus and Apollo and Hermes where they're having a meeting, that they're having a discussion, and it's got to do because Mercury was a naughty boy. And he stole Apollo's cattle, and then he wanted to apologize, and and he wanted to make amends, and Zeus ended up forgiving him anyway. Ended up giving him a chance, right? I think from the story that I know anyway. But the point is that the details, those nuances, those details of those parts of the mythologies, you can see that those parts in the sky. That's what we're talking about right now. So when Mercury disappears as he's preparing to finish his evening star, and then he ends up going in that loop, which is essentially where he starts his retrograde period before he's reborn as the morning star. That zone there where Mercury is invisible, there's a really important meeting happening. And if I was to think about that just from a simple tropical retrograde perspective of Mercury, and we know that when a planet is retrograde, it's time to pause and to reflect, right? There's something about the energy that's turned within, but that within that's going on in this case happens to be an interaction between three major divinities, Jupiter, Apollo, and Mercury. It's pretty amazing just how I never would have known that. That's amazing, Rumen. Yeah.
So actually, we can find exactly how to overlay mythology on the path of Mercury here. Like when Mercury disappears, which is this last blue point here.
Right.
I can probably uh, move there to tell you exactly. Okay, I will move exactly where he disappears. Yeah, he will disappear as an evening star. Let's see, this will be the 3rd of July.
Okay.
Uh, so here, when he disappears, then this corresponds in this myth on the period when Hermes starts putting in practice his plan to steal the cows of Apollo. Yeah, so
Uh,
he puts this in action,
right.
and until the evening station, he goes and does it.
Right.
He
Wow.
goes and steals the cows of Apollo in
Right.
this period, which will be until the evening station, which will correspond to from the 3rd of July to the 17th of July.
Right. Right. So,
Then,
sorry, go ahead. Go on. Yeah.
when he is at his evening station,
Mm.
Apollo will be very angry and will find him in his cave.
Hmm.
Hermes will pretend that he doesn't know anything. He'll play tricks with Apollo, tell some kind of funny things. Hey Apollo, what the hell are you doing here in this cave? Am I dreaming? Come on.
Oh,
and then and then Apollo, hey, you stole my cows. Tell me where they are. And then Hermes will say, what? Are you crazy? 1 day old baby is stealing your cows? Come on,
yeah.
go to a psychiatrist.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
and then and then yeah, on the evening station, Apollo will go to the cave of Hermes and they will start this talk. So the talk will start on the 17th of July
Wow.
2025.
Wow. Oh my God. That is so specific. The detail with the dates.
Yeah.
Wow. That's mind blowing.
and and this kind of talk will with Apollo and Hermes will go until the inferior conjunction, which
Yeah.
is on the 31st of July.
Right. Wow.
So what will happen then? Apollo will say, okay, it's clear that I cannot do anything with you about this matter, but I will take you to Zeus. So he takes Hermes, and on the 31st of July 2025, in Inferior conjunction, he takes Hermes to Zeus.
Wow. Okay. Jeez, oh wow. I'm blown away by the specificity and detail of the story, the mythology, and the dates because, we can take that story, right? And anybody can apply it to their circumstances, or we can take this story and we can apply it to a country between leaders that are having negotiations, right? And what's happening with those
Mhm.
negotiations relative to where Mercury is in this cycle that we're talking about. And who's lying and who stole what, things like that, right? It's, yeah. Is that right, Ruben? Like we can, take that
Oh
story
yeah,
and
yeah,
just
yeah, of
apply it
course.
to an individual or to a country or to two leaders, it's just what Mercury is doing, right? The story is the story, and how we live through that or experience that is based on us, right? So,
Yeah, yes.
wow, that is freaking incredible. I love the detail of this. So, okay, yeah.
So when so on this meeting,
Mm,
then on this meeting, Zeus was like very amused by the event, and he told Hermes, "Hey, look, I know everything, so give the cows back to Apollo,
yeah.
and from this moment, be like in one mind."
Mm,
So he kind of made tried to make them friends again,
mm,
and actually they became very good friends
mm,
actually,
mm,
because after this meeting with Zeus, Hermes of course loves and respects his father,
mhm,
and he does everything that Zeus tells him.
mm.
Uh, so after this meeting, Apollo was still a little bit, how to say it,
Pissed off.
yeah,
Pissed off.
yeah, a little bit pissed off. But then they was sitting on one mountain top, and then Hermes took out the alpha that he has made,
Mhm,
and started playing on it,
mhm.
and and uh, and singing, and Apollo was wow.
It's so incredible the divinity Hermes, just that pure brilliance, in what he's able to do. Look at what he did from when he was just a little baby, and then he made that instrument, and oh my God, just so brilliant mind, yeah.
Yeah, actually, he made his instrument
Mhm.
when he in the
No, are
in
you going to
the
tell us when he made the instrument here?
yeah in the actually he made it in the morning of his first day. So actually, he made the instrument like when he appeared, like evening first one, and until maybe like several days here, in this kind of period,
Right.
because like in the
Mm.
morning he made the arfa or the lyre,
Yeah.
and then in the noon he climbed on the top of a mountain, and he started singing hymns towards the divinities,
Yeah.
towards the cosmic order, and how good is everything. So he was a good guy. You know?
Oh,
uh,
wow. Ah,
so
that's
uh,
beautiful.
somewhere after the inferior conjunction came this kind of period of reconciliation. So Hermes gets out the harp, started singing. Apollo is like dumbstruck. Uh, and then in one moment, Hermes takes the harp and gives it to Apollo and tells him, "This is my gift to you."
Mm,
So, so Apollo is so grateful that he forgives everything to Hermes.
yeah, yeah.
And this is happening actually here before somewhere where the loop where the retrograde motion is finished,
Ah,
somewhere here where Mercury starts going direct. This is when they finally yeah, make friends again. And then this is the point where Mercury appears as Apollo again, as a morning star here.
Einstein, right. Wow, that detail
Uh,
is
here.
unbelievable. That's that's
And
That's so unique what you've created. Really, it's so incredible. It's so unique because I've always loved the mythologies. I started reading the mythologies 30 years ago. I've always loved the mythologies, and so now to know the mythologies, because I know the Greek mythologies very well, especially the Greek mythologies, and to know now that cycle of Mercury, what Mercury is doing in the sky, when he's not visible, and when he's a morning star, and when he's an evening star, and when he's retrograde, and the story, that mythology is in all that cycle. I mean, it had never occurred to me, but of course it makes complete sense. And wow, I mean, you're the first person to make these these divine stories, come to life through a program in such a way. It's pretty phenomenal, pretty phenomenal. So I'm excited. Now we must actually continue. Obviously, we can't do it all tonight or today, but we need to look at Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, right?
yeah,
That would
but
be
we are
amazing.
yeah, but we are still not finished even with Mercury,
I know. Trust me, I know. Yeah.
because you see he will appear like, okay, morning station. Okay, let's see. Right now here is coming to IC1 is on the 31st of July. Morning station is on the 9th of August. So from here is the final reconciliation. And then on the 15th of August, Mercury appears as a morning star, Apollo.
Mm, hmm.
But then what happens? Okay, Apollo is born, right, on the seventh lunar day, according to mythology. Okay, but what happens then? On the fourth day in the life of Apollo, which will correspond here to, okay, like the first day is the 15th, so it will be like the 19 of August will be the fourth day of visibility
Hmm.
of of morning Mercury. On his when Apollo was 4 day old, he killed Python.
Right. Mm. When he was just 4 days old.
Well, yeah, when he was just 4 days old, he went to Delphi and he built and he killed this monster there, Python, Echidna, this monster of the dark forces.
Hmm.
And this, as you can see here, this also on the 19th of August is also the morning elongation also.
Yeah. Okay.
So actually, we can also overlay the myths for Apollo on this heliacal path of Mercury.
Yeah, yeah.
So we
That's
know exactly when Apollo will kill the the horrible monster Python Echidna on the 19th of August, 4 days after his appearance.
so in the world with all the chaos at the moment between negotiations of, leaders and countries and the absolute psychosis that's going on because it's just psychotic. Do you think that I'm very curious about the Mercury killing the monster, the Hydra.
Mhm.
Like that sounds like it's going to be a crucial period there when Mercury's at that spot, which is what did you say, around the 19th?
Of
Well, actually, a few days after the 15th of August, I think you said, right?
yeah. Well, this is for the latitude 42, 43 north.
Right, yeah. So it could be
So
different in New York, for instance, or
yeah,
Australia, and etc. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
and also don't forget that this happens 3 times in 1 year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I don't expect this to be huge,
Yeah, okay.
which will shape the world for the next
Yeah,
20 or 50 years,
yeah, I understand.
but
Yeah,
this will be for the period, for the period.
yeah, yeah. No, I understand because yeah, as we have it explained, this could happen 3, 4 times a year, and obviously, not every year is a highly significant year for big, big, big changes. So, because if it was, then we'd have them every year, right? So, and we don't. So
Yeah,
it's understandable. But I guess in the context of the background of what's going on, maybe this might be more important this time. I don't know. I'm just wondering. I'm just curious. Um, I mean, could the Mercury killing the Hydra that period there, like, can you give us an example? Like, if you don't want to talk about political world issues, maybe just use an example between two people. Maybe something's going on between two people. How would that show up if it was important? I'm just curious to.
yeah. Uh, this will be like the the end of some bad intrigue, for example. It's
Intrigue, did
like,
you say?
pardon?
Did you say intrigue?
Yeah, this will be like the end of some kind of bad period.
Yeah. With
Like,
could
yeah,
it be like with communications? Maybe you've been having with
yeah,
somebody and, you know,
mhm,
uh, talking on the phone, blah, 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 and bullshit
yeah,
or whatever, whatever's going on.
yeah,
So that would be like the cutting the connection.
yeah. Python is the divinity of rottening.
Rottening.
This is
Hmm.
rottening. Yeah, this is actually coming from the word Python, which is translated like someone, some force which is causing rottening,
Yeah. Okay.
which is actually the forces of destruction.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm.
So, yeah,
Hmm.
um,
Okay. Let me
of
just see if
course,
there's any questions here for you, Rumen. Just give me 1 minute. I just want to see if there's any specific questions to you. Um, okay, some guys if you're still there watching, some of those questions are just not really sort of connecting to the material today. So maybe just send me an email or maybe just do some research yourself. Okay, so someone asks, Rumen, is there a way to use Babylonian astrology to look at the birth charts of companies listed on the stock exchange to find the most favorable times to invest in these companies?
Well, yeah. For this, you need karma in order to make money from the stock market and astrology. If you have Jupiter in your fifth house, well, you may try. Uh, but I'll tell you one story with me. Like once I calculated something similar, and but I didn't have money in my account of the broker. So I took money and I go to the end. I had very, very limited time to do this, like half a day or something. And I went to the office of the broker, and it was closed. It was closed because of something there happened. I say, wow. So yeah, it's yeah. If you have this in your radical chart, you may probably be successful, but you should also look at the charts of the owner of this company.
Yeah, 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 agreed.
Also, many, yeah, like also global kind of phenomena,
Mm.
chart of the owner, chart of the stock, so many
Yeah,
many things, and also your own chart also.
yeah, agreed. Okay, so
So
hopefully,
here, I think I showed you last time something very interesting about Mercury, because if we like there are three cycles, morning, three cycles evening, and if we connect them, that's what we'll see.
yes, that's right. So
Yeah,
that's is that two triangles? It is, isn't it? Yeah. Star of
yeah,
David? Yeah.
these are two triangles,
Hmm.
and they connect. You can make them with the inferior conjunction and the superior conjunctions, or with the morning first, everything here.
Hmm.
So for example, you see here inferior conjunction 1
Hmm.
and inferior conjunction 1. So here is one of the points,
Hmm.
because it connects the three inferior conjunctions.
Hmm. Yeah.
And the blue lines connect the three superior conjunctions.
Right. So inferior conjunctions, for those that don't know, that would be the Sun conjunction between Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde morning star ultimately, and the superior conjunction will be Sun Mercury conjunction again, but evening star, right?
Yeah, like inferior is when Mercury is between the sun and the earth.
Yeah.
And superior is when Mercury is behind the sun.
So on the other side, yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but you see, in this several years, there is something very important happening, which is connected. Let me get rid of this here. Okay, connected with the moon.
Okay.
You see, like here, we can see the path of the moon
Mhm.
for let's see, for now, I'll put here now. So right now the moon is after full moon, but there is something very, very interesting thing here. Like if we project also the galactic equator,
Mm.
okay, so the center of galaxy is somewhere here in the end of, let me get rid of this here, somewhere, as you see, this is the center of the galaxy, somewhere on the tip of the arrow of Sagittarius.
Okay.
And you see the path of the moon
Mm.
goes through this center.
Mm.
And we had a full moon
Mm.
this month, right very, very close,
Right.
which was the full moon was on the 11th of June.
Yes, that's right.
Very, very close here. And okay, if I go to the 11th of June, one day, let's do it. Oh, yeah. So this was somewhere the 11th of June. The moon was in its full moon, and
Mhm.
that's very close to the center of galaxy, the path of the moon.
Mm.
And this is happening only in this kind of several years, uh, because look how it will change. If I change this with 1 year, I
Mhm.
go back again. But like you see how it is in 22. The path of the moon goes a little bit off the center.
Mhm. Mhm.
Then 23, it goes closer. 24,
Mm.
25, and then 26 again goes goes back. So this year 24, 25, 26, this will be crucial, and especially when the full moon happens to be there, which will be happening, of course, around this time, like May, June, um, right? Because the sun must be somewhere here in order the full moon to coincide with the center of the galaxy.
Mm.
So it is happening like the end of from the like 15th 20th of May until maybe 15th of July. It will be happening here. And also we can look if this coincides also with the let's see, with the lunar orbit. Oh my God. Yes, it does. Actually, uh, actually, this is the apogee of the moon.
Mhm.
And as you see right now, all three things coincide, like the full moon, the
Mm.
apogee of the moon,
Mm.
and the moon going through the galactic center.
Wow.
So that's very, very
Mm.
intense. Many people can
Mm.
freak out. Many, many freaking things can
Right.
happen,
Which is what's happening around
which
the
is
world,
which is what is happening.
right?
And you can add
Wow.
also here the heliacal rise of Saturn,
Okay.
because the heliacal rise of Saturn, it's for different latitudes different, but it rose for Moscow somewhere around the 12th 13th of June,
Right. Wow.
like maybe 2 weeks before, yeah, like in the end of May, it rose for Washington DC, then in the beginning of June for Kiev, I think. So yeah,
Mm.
but this is here very, very important, because this apogee, it moves with the time. For example, I'll show you how it moves in 1 month. We go forward. So it's yeah, it will be like somewhere in October, November, the apogee will be going through the galactic center. uh but the full moon will not show up there. So but also here, if the conjunction of the sun and the moon happen at the galactic center,
Hmm.
and the apogee is there, then that's also crucial,
Yes.
which will be, yeah, which will be somewhere. I'm moving the sun now to see when he will be there. Yeah, right here. Oh, right here, yeah. Right now the sun is somewhere there. The apogee of the moon is also there. Yeah, this is when we have such kinds of things. Also, this will be some kind of crucial time too,
Mm,
especially if the moon is in a position or in conjunction.
mm, mm,
Like maybe if I go no 2 weeks ago, it will not do. Maybe where is the moon now? Let's see. Aha, the moon is here. I'm trying to move it to coincide here. Nah, well, still crucial time.
hmm.
Well, so we can see here
Yeah.
almost almost
Yeah.
almost everything.
Almost everything. Absolutely. That's phenomenal. So you just, let me see if I got that right, just to explain um, what we've just gone through. So we're able to put the galactics, the galactic center in the chart, right? We're able to, which is that big circle around here. Yes? That
This actually where is written center.
right. So that's
This is the galactic center.
galactic center. Okay. And so we have that pathway being shown in the chart, and then we saw the full moon was very close to that point, the full moon that just occurred on the 11th of June, which was in Babylonian Scorpio, tropical Sagittarius. And you also brought up the moon's apogee and perigee path, right?
Yeah.
And that too was lining up. So this is all astronomy, guys, obviously, and it can be a bit tricky if you're not familiar with some of the language, and I certainly haven't seen this kind of specificity and detail in a program before, although most of you have heard of the Galactic Center, I'm assuming, and some of you might have heard of the term apogee and perigee, which are Greek words, apoyi, perigee, away from the earth, close to the earth. And so Rumen has just showed us with this program, you can act by clicking these additional options, you can put the galactic center in and see if it's lining up with a full moon, for example, which I think, Rumen, you were just indicating that that's not something that happens frequently. It seems to have lined up a lot in 2024, 25, and it's going to line up in 26. Is that right? I think those years you said seem to be,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Like 25 is exact the exact as you can see here, the path goes through the center right now in 2025. But if I move to 20 opa, if I move to 2026, let me see, I'll move with 1 year, then it starts going off again.
Right. So that, just to clarify, that red circle, that's the full moon there?
Yeah.
Clarify? Yeah. Okay, good. So yes, it's moved away from 2025. So 2025 it looks like it's the closest, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's why we're having these explosions.
Yes.
But would you say that on a spiritual level, Rumen, that people that are more spiritually awake, or that part of life is more important to them, that do a lot of practice in I don't know, prayer, meditation,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
trying to um, connect more and more with soul and spirit and the divine source, God, would you say that this energy is good, for those sorts of things? Like it feels to me that something big is really open there, for us to access on that spiritual plane with the galactic.
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. You see, like in 2026 also will be quite powerful because then the apogee,
Mm-hmm.
the full moon, and the center of the galaxy will also
Very close.
coincide.
Yeah. Mm.
So yeah, this is because the moon is like a magnifying glass. Everything which is behind the moon is kind of projected on us,
Mm.
on the Earth. Then, if behind the moon is the whole galactic center, you can imagine what kind of tremendous
Yes.
energy will be focused.
Yes.
Uh, and yeah, this is
Mm.
powerful time for spiritual work.
Mm. That's the feeling that I was getting when I was,
Mm.
looking at what you were talking about, which is why I asked. I just wanted to hear from you that that's what it would represent as well, not just the chaos and psychosis in the world, but there are lots of good things that can happen even when there's very terrible things happening. That's the point, I think, right?
Yeah, this is just a lot of energy,
Yeah.
and if you don't do spiritual work, you can freak out.
You can freak out. Yeah, that's such a great way to put it, Rumen. That's such a simple, profound way to put it because there are a lot of people panicking everywhere, all around the world at the moment, which is understandable. But even like myself, because I've been practicing meditation for more than 20 years now, and I practice it like every night still. And I know that even myself, with the understanding that I have, or the awareness or knowledge I have, if I don't do any of my spiritual work or meditation, I'll fucking freak out as well with the fucking drama that's, projected out there at the moment. It's so psychotic. So I love that this energy really enhances, it really enhances and opens that channel up if we are working on that level. So that's really, really good news. Really good news. I think we'll perhaps start winding it up a bit. And I know that there's much more to say, even for Venus, because we didn't even talk about the mythologies of Venus when we looked at her path. I'd love to look at that. But yeah, and also I know that you've got your program starts next month in Varna, Bulgaria. So Rumen's going to be giving live presentations. He's going to take you to very specific areas in Bulgaria and Varna that enable you to really witness the sky. They're very special, sacred uh, places in Bulgaria, Varna. That's part of the program as well. He's going to have in-house presentations. There's going to be some social activity where people can just join after the teachings have happened and so forth, and that part of it is for free. So even if you're close to Bulgaria, somewhere in Europe, I mean, if I was there, I'd be there, I'd be right next to you, Roman. But I'm on the other side of the world, unfortunately. So those of you that do not know about these programs that Rumen is presenting in July, you can send him an email. All his information will be underneath the description of this live video. You can contact him. I think that I think, was it 12 days or something from memory? I've just forgotten the program.
Yeah, yeah, it will be like 6 days of indoor teaching and then 3 days of looking at the sky,
Right, yeah. So, and
starting from the 4th of July.
starting from the 4th of July. Okay. So anyone interested in studying with Rumen in this program, you can just be a beginner. It doesn't matter. Is that right, Rumen? I mean, it's pretty much open
Oh
for
yeah,
who wants to learn, right? About,
yes,
the sky and Babylonian astrology. And I think you're going to be possibly using this program for some of your demonstrations as well. Yes?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. And I think you're going to bring in some examples for predictive work you mentioned as well. So some famous people's charts as examples to show some of the techniques that you teach and use with this program as well.
Oh yeah, yes, of course.
So, okay, great. So anyone interested in that program or parts of it or anything, Rumen's details will be underneath this video. You can also reach me. Even if you reach me and you want to know something about Rumen's program, I'm happy to answer those emails as well. So feel free. But of course, you can contact Rumen directly. And Rumen, do you think 4th of July, that's only, just over 2 weeks away. So we probably won't meet before then, will we, for another part for Placidus?
Uh, yeah, I think we could somewhere towards the end of this month, June,
Okay, well that would be good.
somewhere well after like somewhere like 27, 28 maybe.
Okay. All right. So we might see you guys again um before the end of June. Now, there's some comments here, Rumen. There's a lot of people saying thank you. That was really fascinating and profound. And yeah, and someone here says, I'm from the Neptune Conjunct Galactic Center cohort. I approve this message. Okay, I need to think about that. Um, anyway, there's a lot of appreciation here. Bulgarian rosewater is some of the best because of the way it reacts to Venus. The astrocartography of Bulgaria is awesome for growing specific plants and herbs. Wish I could go to this event. I wish I could go too. Bulgarian rosewater. Have you seen this before there, Roman? Bulgarian rosewater?
Yeah, yeah, Bulgarian rose oil, that's famous, very, very
Is
famous.
it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'll have to look that up. I didn't even know that there was something distinctive there for rose oil or rose water. I love rose oil and rose water. I've had some from different countries in the Middle East especially, but not from Bulgaria. Okay, Roman. Well, that was absolutely phenomenal, phenomenal information and very inspiring as well, very rich. Just having that ability to look at the program and see the story of Hermes and Apollo and Jupiter and his retrograde cycle and where they're having the meeting and his rebirth from, out of the evening star to then the morning star. And we got to see that whole path corresponding to an actual date and month of this year. That's yeah, it's just mind blowing. It's just mind blowing. That's as simple as that. I'm really looking forward to exploring this further with you, with the rest of the planets. And I'm really looking forward to that. It's like these little chapters of gold gems that you just throw out there. They're like little chapters and that they just grow and grow and grow. This program's going to be amazing. I can't wait till it's ready. I think people are going to be really excited when they meet with you in Bulgaria. And I think it's going to be a wonderful time for you and the people that attend as well. And I think you also said you've got some possible special allies showing up, where they have quite a reputable background of some kind as well. So there's pretty important people that are
Yes.
going to be there too, apart from yourself, I mean, so yeah, you guys are lucky if you live in Europe. I wish, yeah, I had that luxury. Okay, is there anything else that you'd like to say for today, Roman, or? Are we?
Yeah, well, I wish everyone who is watching this video good luck.
Yeah, thank you, Roman. So, all right, guys, thank you to those of you who tuned in and those of you who will watch the recording later. I know there'll be many. And don't forget, if you need to speak to myself or Rumen, please contact us directly. And we'll see you very, very soon. Sending you all much love and blessings. And thank you so much, Rumen, for your gorgeous program, which is going to be amazing when it's ready to be, yeah, 100% complete. Magical, magical. Thank you so much, Rumen. And thanks, everyone. And we'll see you soon.